Hello and welcome back to Explosive Colonization. So today we have a little bit of station keeping. Essentially what we're doing is just getting everything to the point where I can start looking out towards Joule and towards putting a colony down in the Joule system. So one of the things I started with was here we have our little ship returning back from Juna from long ago. It's still transferring. That's how much has happened sort of fairly recently and how long it's taken me to do things. This is still only midway through its transfer. So what I decided to do in the middle of this is I noticed that I've only got a pilot out and everybody else is in cryogenic storage. So I decided, because there's a bit of data in the lab, to pull out 2 scientists from the deep freeze. I can't put them back in once they're out. I don't have any glycerol left to refreeze them, but I decided to pull them back out because I've got enough life support to manage, and then bring some more science in and just do a bit more research and get more data. At the moment I have a little over 4,000 science, but I need 10,000 to unlock the Alcubierre drive. So I still need a good chunk more science. I've got a fair bit of research to get to it. So that was just bringing this particular ship back. And now we are on to our Juna base. This is the Infinity base? I think it's the Infinity base. I can't see on the screen it's rendered on just now. But this is our little base on Eve, not Juna, sorry. And I need a bit of modification to this. So at the moment, one of the problems I'm having is I can't build things. I can build things to a certain size, but obviously if it's beyond what a Kerbal can handle, then it's difficult to build something. And I need to be able to construct larger things for exploration on Eve. I want to try and gather as much science from Eve as possible. I've sort of reconciled myself to these people are going to be staying here for a while because of the transfer times, so I might as well start gathering science and doing as much as possible. So the first part of this is I need to move a few things, and obviously this part from K&K, it's part of the OSE workshop for generating your material kits, but it's too heavy, so obviously 3 Kerbals come out to move it. And the point being is I want to install this cupola onto the front of it, because this allows me to build things through extraplanetary launch pads, providing I put down some stakes, some survey stakes. So this will allow me to build things on the surface of Eve, even though at the moment I can't work out a design to actually get off Eve. I think I've worked out one design that carries 1 Kerbal at a time, and that just seems really inefficient to me for the amount of resources I need to use. So for the moment this is just us. I thought I'd keep all this in because I don't often show the KISS stuff, and it is a large chunk of my playtime messing about with KISS on different bases. So I'm just going through here at the moment, and I need to plant down my survey stakes, but I'm also trying to speed up the frame rate because we've got a bit of an issue. So all I'm doing here is a quick way of recycling. It's not the most efficient, but I thought I'd pull things out and recycle them and just get rid of this section on the end, which will give me some parts for recycling it, some equipment for recycling it, which I can turn into rocket parts. But it also gives me a better frame rate if I remove parts from around about the area, so that's what I'm doing at the moment. And the main problem with this is one of the things I need the ability to generate power. I need a lot more power. At the moment I have to turn off a lot of things during the night because I don't have the amount of power to run everything. So I need a nuclear generator. As you can see there, I have built so many RTGs and stacked them up to try and keep me going through the night, but still I have to turn off some things. The part that I need for actually gaining uranium is very heavy, so unfortunately I can't lift it. Even with multiple Kerbals I can't lift it, it's too heavy. So I'm going to have to build it, and that's where this entire idea came from, was to put down a bit that I could build from extraplanetary launch pads, design a craft, put the craft down, it'll have the ability to mine and recycle uranium, and then I can hook it up to a reactor and away we go. That's a nice easy way of doing it. The big enough reactor will keep it powered. A bit more battery power and a bit more mining. I've not designed the craft yet, but I've got several that I have used in the past, so we'll see what I manage. But for the moment this is how it's going, so we're just, that's the survey stakes down, and then just hooking it back up. And I've just rebalanced a few things. As you can see there, the wheels get destroyed when I hook it back up, but it's easily repaired every time. And then all I'm doing is checking for one of my last little tent sections. I need some storage for rocket parts. So I just hook this on so that we can just adjust the way things are being made. This is just me messing about because I didn't realise I was still selected with the mallet. So we go back to the screwdriver, there we go. And this will allow me to store the rocket parts I create. So of the various alarms that you saw through that, I'm jumping between the ships and updating all my timers because obviously my TAC life support has a problem with it. That has now been rectified in the new version, but a lot of the stuff I use hasn't been updated to 1.3.1. So now my intention is to send the entire station out to the dual system, which means I need to restock it. Which means I need my liquid hydrogen ferry so that I can bring up liquid hydrogen from one of my bases. And to do that I need to streamline some of the bases. And I just give up and decide to just chuck this craft away because it's just a pain to use and I don't want to bother docking it to something else. Its RCS ports seem a bit too weak for what it is, and I just don't like the way it was designed. So we just set the throttle and chuck it and see where it goes. So I bring the Kerbal back and we just get back in, and then I switch over to the craft so that I can just see where it goes, and I just sort of record, keep an eye on where it's going, because I was expecting it to crash back into the planet, and had I let it unload obviously it would have stopped the engine and that's what would have happened. But I changed its category so it's set as debris now. My intention is to do the little trick where you set persistent debris to nothing and it just gets rid of a whole load of things. But for the moment that's not, I've got a few things to do before I do that. But this just gets kicked out into orbit to float forever and a day. And from here we have a lovely explosion as we load in. And as you can see, what's actually happened is these ships have separated from the main production base. But there is no Kerbals left here at the moment, so I can't undock those ships to get them up to orbit, even though they're all loaded with rocket parts. Everything's full here, it's got all the liquid hydrogen it needs. So what I actually have to do is get Kerbal back to here. But for the moment I don't have the ability, I've got too many other things going on. And at the same time I want to get a lot of Kerbals back to Kerbin. Because I think I've only got 2 there. There isn't a lot for launching new crafts from Kerbin, and it's not something I've done in quite a while. But from here we just switch around to our other base. This was a liquid hydrogen base. And then we move our little... We've taken one of the Kerbals out of the lander, and I'm just returning this section because this liquid hydrogen base is going through a reduction as well. I'm going to get rid of all the ancillary parts. So now that we've restocked it with a lot more uranium so the generator can run full, I decided to bring this little craft back and actually do it all at one time. And I'm keeping all of this in so that you can see what I'm doing, but also so you can see all of the alarms that are popping up. Because just in the time it takes to return to Minmus, half of my things on TAC life support run out of power and I have to jump between them all. So it's quite a bit of a pain. But here we are, just a fairly aggressive re-entry. ditching my little fuel section and turning on the fuel from the main pod. And then just keeping a little bit of nose up on re-entry and watching the ablative and also watching the engines. Last time I did this, although I lost the Kerbal in the end, I actually lost one of the engines while re-entering, so I was trying to sort of distribute the heat and keep an eye on my landing area. This time, the last one I did lose actually had a parachute. I only noticed it afterwards. I was watching a video back. This one's got a parachute as well, and the trick is just to let it open before you hit the ground. But I decided that I want to try and land this not in the water but fairly close to the shore. So this is just me trying to fly it, although it's just basically running on the reaction wheel. There's no control surfaces. The reaction wheel is a little bit overpowered on this mod at the moment, but we'll see how it works. I'm sure it'll go through lots of changes because at the moment it's a fantastic mod. I really do like it. Because I've got a little bit of monopropellant, I decided to turn around and aim for a flatter surface. Obviously I'm getting awful close to the water, but as you can see here, I managed to get back, deploy the parachute, and a perfect landing for once. Now back to the drifter. This is a ship that's been here for a long time. This carried the two sections of the main base, and I actually left a lot of Kerbals on board this that were supposed to go down to the planet, and I forgot about them. So luckily they've had life support and they've got a longer battery than most. So I decided to set a course back to Kerbal for the drifter because there's not much else it can do. So a quick time warp there, and these burns are insanely long. But I'm not sure what went wrong here. I think I wasn't paying attention to it, but I think I just messed up and the burn was too long for the angle of it, and so it's another burn required on that. And now this is the hammerhead, which hopefully will be the saviour of the guys on Eve. So we have two of the heavy lander ships there, one top and bottom on the left, that come from the Interstellar ships mod, not the actual Interstellar mod, and then there's another lander on the front that has some equipment on it. And this again is just another long burn, and I'm just slightly off, so I set up a little fine tune here. And this is hopefully everything set up. All I need to do now in the next episode is going to be bringing up some more fuel to the station, and getting that set up and starting to look at the loading of the Avatar. So stay tuned for that one. I know this was a bit shorter than normal, but I hope it was interesting, and I will see you again.